Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English, Basics for Beginners. We are starting now with chapter number 75, Surah Al-Qiyamah, the resurrection and the summary from Sayyid Abul Ala Maududi Rahmatullahi Alayhi from the Tafhim al-Quran, the meaning of the Quran. If you want more detailed explanation, please consult Ma'riful Quran. Right, the name. The chapter has been so named after the word Al-Qiyamah in the first verse. The period of revelation, it is one of the earliest chapters sent down at Mecca. After verse 15, the discourse, so let's just look at this. After verse 15, the discourse is suddenly interrupted and Nabi Sal'lal'laa'hu A'layhi Was'sallam has been told, do not move your tongue to remember this revelation hastily. It is our responsibility to have it remembered and read. Therefore, when we are reciting it, listen to its recital carefully. Again, it is our responsibility to explain its meaning. Then from verse 20 onward, the same theme which was interrupted at verse 15 is resumed. This parenthetical passage, according to both the context and the traditions, has been interposed here for the reason that when Jibreel alayhi salam was reciting this chapter to Nabi Sal'lal'laa'hu A'layhi Was'sallam, then Nabi Sal'lal'laa'hu A'layhi Was'sallam, in case he would forget its words later, was repeating them at the same time that Jibreel alayhi salam was reciting it. This in fact happened at the time when the coming down and receipt of revelation was yet a new experience for him, and he was not yet fully used to receiving it calmly, and he was concerned that he must not forget the words. There are two other examples of this in the Quran. First, in Surah Taha, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has been told, and see that you do not hasten to recite the Quran before its revelation is completed to you, and that's in verse number 114. Then in Surah Al-Ala, it has been said, we shall enable you to recite, then you shall never forget it. Verse number 6. Later, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam became fully used to receiving the revelation well, there remained no need to give him any further similar instructions. That is why, except for these three, there is no other instance of this example in the Quran. Right, the theme and subject matter. Most of the chapters from here till the end of the Quran, in view of their content and style, seem to have been sent down in the period when, after the first 7 verses of Surah Al-Mudaththir, revelation of the Quran began like a shower of rain. Thus, in the successively revealed surahs, Islam and its fundamental concepts and moral teachings were presented so forcefully and so effectively in pithy, brief sentences, and the people of Makkah were warned so vehemently on their errors and deviations that the Quraysh chiefs were utterly confounded. Therefore, before the next hot season came, they held the conference for devising schemes to defeat Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as has been mentioned in the introduction to the previous chapter, Surah Al-Mudaththir. In this chapter, addressing the 3 deniers of the hereafter, replies have been given to each of their doubts and objections. Strong arguments have been given to prove the possibility, the guarantee, the occurrence, and the necessity of the resurrection and the hereafter, and why it is absolutely essential for there to be a day of judgment, because it is a day of justice. And also it has been pointed out clearly that the actual reason of people denying the hereafter is not that they regard it as impossible rationally, but because of their selfish motives do not allow them to affirm it through arrogance or ignorance and so on. Right. At the same time, the people have been warned, as if to say, the event, the occurrence of which you deny, will inevitably come. All your deeds will be brought and placed before you. As a matter of fact, even before any of you sees his record or her record, he will be knowing fully well himself what he has done in the world, for no person is unaware of himself or herself, no matter what excuses and pretenses he may offer to deceive the world and deceive himself in respect of his deeds. This brings us to the end of the introduction. Join me in the next episode as we go through verse by verse of this chapter. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.